Have you ever caught yourself worrying about your income after retirement? It feels inevitable, but here's a freeing truth. Saving money doesn't have to mean giving up quality of life. But what if I told you that with small, smart changes, you can maintain your lifestyle while preserving your budget for the years ahead? Meet Anne Silva, a 68-year-old woman who faced this challenge when she noticed her post-retirement income was getting tight. "I always thought I'd planned my retirement well," she once told me, a hint of worry in her voice. "But after a few months, I realized I was spending more than I could afford." Then one day, during a chat with her best friend, she heard something that shifted her perspective. Have you ever stopped to look at where your money's actually going? So, what did Anne do? She took a simple but powerful step: conducting a detailed financial checkup. Instead of randomly cutting expenses, she started listing all her monthly spending, from fixed bills to little daily costs like coffee runs or subscriptions she barely used. "At first, I thought it'd be a drag," she admitted. "But after a few weeks, I saw there were so many things I didn't even realize were draining my cash." But why is this so transformative? Here's a key insight. Understanding your spending is the first step to making smart choices. When you know exactly where your money's going, it's easier to spot areas where you can save without sacrificing your happiness. It's like cleaning out a cluttered closet, Anne explained. You find space for what really matters. Another trick Anne learned was sorting her spending into priorities and luxuries. She split her expenses into two groups: essentials like food, housing, and healthcare, and extras like rarely used streaming subscriptions or impulse buys. "I realized I could ditch some stuff without missing it," she said. "And the money I saved, I automatically put into an emergency fund." But here's the thing. Saving doesn't mean extreme deprivation. Anne figured out the secret was finding balance. For instance, she still treated herself to fresh flowers to brighten her home, something that made her happy, but cut out services that didn't add real value to her life. It wasn't about living less, she explained. It was about living better with less. Now, think about this. Do you have control over your spending? Or is your money slipping away without you noticing? Maybe you think saving means giving up everything that brings you joy. What if I told you that figuring out where you're really spending can help you save without losing quality of life? As Anne dug into this first step, she realized something profound. Saving isn't just about numbers. It's about redirecting resources to what truly matters. It was like every unnecessary cut was her way of telling the universe, I want to invest in what brings me joy and security. But here's an intriguing question. What if there are other smart ways to save without losing quality of life? Anne was about to find out, and you're about to learn the next secret too. Now that you understand the importance of identifying your spending, it's time to talk about one of the biggest secrets to saving money: replacing expensive habits with smart alternatives. It sounds simple, but here's a powerful truth. You don't need to give up your passions or pleasures to save. You just need to find creative ways to do the same for less. But what if I told you that small changes in your daily life can make a huge difference in your budget? Anne faced this challenge too. After analyzing her spending and cutting out the extras, she realized there were still areas where she could save without giving up what she truly loved. I adore cooking, Anne once told me with a nostalgic smile, but I was spending a lot on pricey ingredients like imported meats or gourmet spices. Then one day, during a trip to the local market, she stumbled on something surprising. Many cheaper alternatives had similar qualities to the premium options she used to buy. So, what did Anne do? She decided to apply the substitution strategy. Instead of splurging on expensive beef, she started experimenting with more affordable proteins like chicken, eggs, or even nutrient-rich veggies. To replace gourmet spices, she turned to fresh herbs from her own little home garden. At first, I thought I'd miss the old stuff, she confessed. But after a few weeks, I realized the meals were just as delicious as before. They just cost less. But why is this so transformative? Here's a key insight: swapping out costly habits. For practical alternatives is a smart way to protect your budget without sacrificing happiness. It's like trading a luxury car for a basic model that still gets you where you're going, Anne explained. You don't have to ditch the essentials. You just have to get creative. Another trick Anne picked up was exploring free or low-cost activities. For instance, instead of spending money on pricey coffee shops or frequent restaurant visits, she started hosting friends at home, where everyone brought a dish to share. It was amazing to see how those moments felt even more special because we were sharing something we'd made ourselves, she said. Plus, she began taking advantage of free local events like cultural performances, park walks, and public libraries. But here's the thing: substituting doesn't mean deprivation. Anne learned the secret was finding alternatives that brought the same sense of satisfaction, but with less financial hit. I still go out for coffee sometimes, she admitted, but now I pick more affordable spots or go during happy hour. This mindset helped her maintain her quality of life while saving consistently. Now, think about this. Do you have expensive habits that could be swapped for cheaper options? Maybe you're overspending on hobbies, entertainment, or daily conveniences without realizing there are smarter ways to enjoy them. What if I told you that changing small details could save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year? As Anne explored this second secret, she realized something profound. Saving isn't about giving up pleasures. It's about reinventing how you experience them. It was like every substitution was her way of telling the universe, I want to live well, but I also want to be smart with my money. But here's an intriguing question. What if there are other simple strategies that could save even more without compromising your quality of life? Anne was about to find out. And you're about to learn the next secret, too. Now that you understand how to replace expensive habits with smart alternatives, it's time to talk about one of the biggest financial mistakes many people make in retirement: neglecting their health. It seems obvious, but here's a surprising truth. Prioritizing your health now can be one of the most effective ways to save money in the future. But what if I told you that taking care of yourself today could prevent huge expenses on treatments and medications tomorrow? Anne faced this challenge too. After saving by swapping costly habits for smarter options, she realized there was still one essential part of her life that needed attention: her health. I was so focused on saving money that I skipped some routine checkups, Anne once told me, a hint of regret in her voice, until I had a scare with high blood pressure. That wake-up call was the push she needed to rethink her priorities. So, what did Anne do? She took a powerful step: investing in preventive health. Instead of waiting for serious problems, she started taking better care of herself with small daily changes. She began scheduling regular checkups, adopted a balanced diet, and even carved out time for light physical activities like walking and stretching. At first, I thought it'd be hard to stick with it, she confessed. But after a few weeks, I felt more energized and less worried. But why is this so transformative? Here's a key insight. Untreated health issues can turn into a financial snowball. Preventive doctor visits, routine tests, and healthy habits cost way less than long-term treatments or hospital stays. It's like fixing a leak before it. Floods the house, Anne explained. You spend a little now to avoid big losses later. Another trick Anne learned was using free or affordable resources to stay healthy. For example, she joined local walking groups instead of shelling out for pricey gyms. She also tapped into public health programs offering free vaccines, screenings, and consultations. I had no idea how many options were out there until I started looking, she admitted. Plus, she discovered the power of small daily habits, like drinking more water, getting good sleep, and doing simple exercises at home. But here's the thing, investing in health doesn't mean spending a fortune. Anne learned the secret was being consistent and seeking practical solutions. I didn't need fancy equipment or private clinics, she explained. I just had to pay attention to my needs and find affordable ways to take care of myself. This mindset helped her maintain her quality of life while safeguarding her budget in the long run. Now, think about this. Have you been neglecting your health, thinking, I don't have time, or it's not worth investing in now? Maybe you're putting off checkups or ignoring warning signs, not realizing it could cost you way more down the road. What if I told you that prioritizing your health now could save you thousands of dollars and ensure a longer, happier life? As Anne explored this third secret, she realized something profound. Taking care of her health wasn't just about living longer. It was about living better. And that included freeing herself from unnecessary future expenses. It was like every healthy choice was her way of telling the universe, I want to age with energy, purpose, and financial peace of mind. But here's an intriguing question. What if there are other smart ways to save without compromising your quality of life? Anne was about to find out. And you're about to learn the next secret too. Now that you understand how prioritizing your health can save money, it's time to talk about one of the most underrated resources many people overlook: the power of community. It seems simple, but here's a powerful truth. Building a support network can be one of the most effective ways to cut costs while enhancing your quality of life. But what if I told you that sharing resources and helping each other could save you thousands of dollars over time? Anne discovered this too, as she explored creative ways to save money without sacrificing her happiness. After investing in preventive health, she realized there were still areas where she could trim expenses without giving up comfort or joy. I've always been independent, Anne once told me with a nostalgic tone, but I started to see I didn't have to do everything on my own. Then one day, during a chat with her neighbors, a brilliant idea came up: forming a local group to share resources and trade. So, what did Anne do? She took a transformative step, teaming up with her community to lower costs. Instead of buying everything new, she started joining swap groups where people shared or sold used items for next to nothing. For example, she scored books, clothes, and even furniture in great condition without spending much at all. At first, I thought it'd feel weird asking for help or taking used stuff, she confessed. But then I realized everyone was in the same boat, wanting to save and support each other. But why is this so powerful? Here's a key insight. Sharing resources is a smart way to maximize what's already out there. When you connect with your community, you open doors to split costs, trade services, and even gain enriching experiences. It's like having an extension of your home, Anne explained. You don't need to buy expensive tools if you can borrow them from a neighbor, and vice versa. Another trick Anne picked up was joining collective buying groups. She started participating in local initiatives where people bought food, cleaning supplies, or even medications in bulk and then split the costs. It makes a huge difference when you buy together, she said. Prices drop big time and everyone wins. Plus, she began offering small services within her support network, like teaching homemade recipes or giving financial tips, creating a mutual exchange that strengthened everyone's bonds. But here's the thing: sharing doesn't mean depending on others. Anne learned the secret was building relationships based on respect and reciprocity. "I never asked for something without offering something back," she explained. Whether it was lending my cooking skills, helping someone with a project, or just being a good listener. This mindset helped her forge genuine connections while saving consistently. Now, think about this. Have you been overlooking the power of community, thinking you need to handle everything solo? Maybe you're overspending on items or services that could be accessible through support networks. What if I told you that sharing resources could be one of the simplest and most practical ways to save money while deepening your human connections? As Anne explored this fourth secret, she realized something profound. Community isn't just about saving money. It's about creating a sense of belonging. It was like every trade or collaboration was her way of telling the universe, "I want to live in harmony with others without wasting resources." But here's an intriguing question. What if there are other smart ways to save without compromising your quality of life? Anne was about to find out, and you're about to learn the next secret too. Now that you understand the impact of community and sharing, it's time to talk about one of the most crucial pillars for saving money in retirement: financial planning. It might sound technical, but here's a freeing truth. A smart budget is the key to always living with quality of life, even on a limited income. But what if I told you that planning your spending can be simple, practical, and liberating? Anne faced this challenge too. After exploring strategies like swapping habits, preventive care, and support networks, she realized there was still something fundamental missing: a clear plan for her financial resources. "I was saving, but I didn't really know where my money was going," Anne confessed, "until I decided to create a detailed budget, something I'd never done before." So, what did Anne do? She took a powerful step: creating a budget based on priorities. Instead of trying to micromanage every penny, she divided her expenses into three main categories: necessities, personal priorities, and future reserves. Under necessities, she included housing, food, and health care. For personal priorities, she added activities that brought her joy, like hobbies or short trips. And for reserves, she ensured there was always a fund for emergencies or unexpected costs. It was like organizing my financial life into clear little boxes, she explained. But why is this so transformative? Here's a key insight. A budget isn't a prison. It's a tool for freedom. When you know exactly how much you can spend in each category, it's easier to make decisions without guilt or stress. It's like having a map for your financial journey, Anne said. You know where you're headed, and don't get lost along the way. Another trick Anne learned was automating her savings. She set up automatic transfers to her emergency fund as soon as her retirement income came in. There's no point in thinking about saving after you've spent, she admitted. If you set the money aside right away, it just disappears from your radar. And that's a good thing. Plus, she reviewed her budget monthly to tweak it as her needs shifted. But here's the thing. Planning doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible. Anne learned the secret was adapting to changes. Some months I spend more on fun because I want to travel, she explained. Others, I focus on saving for something bigger. The key is keeping the balance. This mindset helped her live with financial peace while enjoying the moments that truly mattered. Now, think about this. Have you been letting your finances drift without a clear plan to guide them? Maybe you think planning is complicated or limits your freedom. What if I told you that a well-crafted budget could be your greatest ally in enjoying life without money worries? As Anne explored this final secret, she realized something profound. Planning her finances wasn't just about numbers. It was about taking control of her life. It was like every conscious decision was her way of telling the universe, I want to live with intention, knowing I have resources for what really matters. And now, are you ready to save money without losing quality of life in retirement? With the 5 secrets we've shared, from identifying spending to crafting a smart budget, you've got the tools in your hands to live a full, balanced, and financially sustainable life. Remember, it's never too late to start. So, what's the first step you'll take today? Maybe it's analyzing your spending, swapping an expensive habit, or joining a support network. Whatever you choose, know you're on the right path to a happy and peaceful retirement. Because, after all, life is made up of the choices we make every day.